Gotham City needs a hero. Someone who will strike fear into the hearts of those who wish to harm others. A silhouette which tells you that you've done something very wrong. But I must also be a symbol for hope, something which can hide in the dark, and be the light shining through it as well. What I need is a kick-ass Batman suit. Batman Begins is the first movie in the Dark Knight trilogy. Now, this trilogy has been praised for years as one of the greatest superhero movie trilogies of all time, and some even say it's one of the best trilogies, like, in general. But I'm not gonna give my opinion on these movies because I might get hit for my opinion on one of them, but I am gonna look at the suits. You may be wondering, hey, shouldn't you talk about all these other suits, like the Michael Keaton suits and stuff? Well, I already did that in this video, and if you want to watch this video, I'll put the link in the description so you can go watch it. This is the part 2 of 2, looking at all of the Batman suits in live action from the early 2000s up until the ones we got now. So don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, and basically this suit looks pretty good, it looks pretty cool, and some people even say it's better than the Dark Knight suit. And, I mean, I'll get to that suit later. Let's start with the mask. I overall like the mask. His nose is pretty pointy, kind of reminds me of Penguin, and I kind of like that it has these little wrinkles. It kind of makes it look almost skull-like, but it doesn't go too far into just being a skull on a Batman suit. The chest symbol is pretty big, some would even say a little too big, but I think it looks pretty fine. I think it looks pretty good. And similar to the Michael Keaton suit and pretty much most other live-action Batman suits, it has this armor aesthetic to it, which makes sense since this is trying to be like a really realistic take on Batman. And one thing I do appreciate about this suit is that the cape usually covers up most of the body. In most live-action Batman movies, they try and like have the cape just in the back and not cover up the whole suit most of the time. But the thing is, Batman in the comics very often has his suit covered up by his cape to help him hide in the shadows, or just to look mysterious and cool. Sometimes it feels like the chest pokes out on the suit a bit and he doesn't really look buff, he kind of looks like fat like me. Also, they didn't exactly fix the neck issue yet, so he kind of still has to turn his whole body to move his head, or he can just, barely move his neck. Also, am I the only one who thinks the gloves look weird? Like, a bunch of other Batman suits, he has like full gloves, but here it's more like he just has gauntlets that he puts over like the sleeve, that's what it looks like. And the hands are really basic. They kind of look like black versions of doctor gloves. Also, I'm not a huge fan of the color palette because it's mostly just a very dark gray with just the black gauntlets and cape pretty much. And the symbol is big, which is nice, but it does often blend into the rest of the suit. Also, I feel like a really good part of most Batman designs is having the belt stick out from the rest of the costume. And they kinda tried to. Let's say for a basic Batman suit, the utility belt is usually a bright yellow or gold. But here it's very dark because I guess they just fucking hate color.
It appears they don't allow people of color in this community.
It's realistic, so nothing can have color, and it just looks more bronze than anything. But overall, I'd say this is a pretty good Batman suit. And I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I think the Dark Knight suit is way better. One thing you may notice about this suit is that it's a lot less bulky, and it makes Batman look a lot more lean than buff, or fat sometimes. And while the Begin suit was a lot more simple, this one tries to look a lot more tactical and has a lot more design. And I definitely am not the first person to criticize this suit for being overly designed. With that being said, I still like this suit more. It's a bit more visually interesting, and honestly, it looking a lot more tactical and SWAT-like matches the more realistic approach of this trilogy. And I personally feel like the limited color palette, which carries over from the Begin suit, looks a lot better here. Some of y'all might not know what I'm talking about, so just bear with me for a sec, let me cook. If the design is going to be a lot more simple, I feel like usually those are better designs anyways, plus I feel like they work a lot better with a varied color palette. Keeps the design simple, and it has different colors to distinguish different limbs. And it's easy on the eyes and won't look super confusing. And I feel like some superhero costumes can be high detail and make sense without looking over-designed, but some just look over-designed and they add a bunch of lines and random different colors and shapes for no fucking reason. Kinda like this. This is basically what would happen if Invincible suit was made in the MCU. I'm not saying all the extra lines and seams and stuff are bad, I'm just saying a lot of them sometimes feel random, and sometimes there's a lot of random segments and shapes and shit. And then not only that, but they use the color palette of the character to make every single one a different fucking color. But with this suit, the Dark Knight suit, it's very high design, but it's all basically the same color, with some slight color variation in ridges and symbols, which is a lot more appealing than having all these different parts be a different shade of gray. I feel like the part that could have been simplified the most is probably the pants, and also I don't really like how small the little window for the mouth is on the mask. Comparing it to a bunch of other Batman suits, they all have a decent bit of his chin showing and it doesn't look weird. It looks like it's freeing and that he can breathe easily. This one, it looks like he's being suffocated a little bit and that his jaw's gonna hurt once he takes the mask off. Also, with the hole for his mouth being so tiny, if he's not wearing the mask is gonna kinda look like... yeah. Also, I think the bat symbol itself is a good design, I just don't like that it sinks in the middle of the suit and that you can barely see the bat head and the ears. And it has a similar problem to the Begin suit, of having the symbol be basically the same color as the rest of the suit, and being really flat so it doesn't really stick out much. Also, they made the bat symbol a darker color than the rest of the suit, which I like. But there's this big band going behind the symbol, which is the same color as the symbol, so that kind of defeats the purpose of having the symbol be a different color. Symbols are supposed to stand out against the suit, but it blends in now, and not only that, but the most notable part of the symbol is being hidden. Here's an edit of the Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises suit made by some guy on Reddit, and it looks much better. They basically just simplified the pants and stomach, and also simplified the chest, and made it to where the bat symbol sticks out more because the symbol is a lot darker than the surrounding chest plate. And also, they make the hole for his mouth a lot bigger so it doesn't look like he's suffocating, and I feel like it's overall just a better version of this already pretty good design. But overall, I'd say the Dark Knight suit is a little bit better than the Begins one. The next live action bat suit we have to talk about is... oh my god, it's so beautiful!
So delicious!
Listen, I don't like this interpretation of Batman. I don't like a lot of choices made about him. I feel like a lot of things were rushed, and a lot of shit was really poorly written. But this costume is so beautiful. It's really weird to think that it took us this long to get a Batsuit that's gray and black at the same time, at least in a big budget live action movie, but just wow. This costume design and this iteration in the DCEU takes heavy inspiration from Frank Miller's work. And I feel like it was adapted as perfectly as it could be. Well, besides the white eyes, but that's some nitpicky shit. The light gray all around the body, with the dark black mask, cape, boots, and gloves, it all just looks so good. And the giant black bat symbol. This whole suit is just a perfect adaptation of the design of Batman in Frank Miller's work. My only complaint, and it's literally just a nitpick, I wish the belt was a little bit more gold. That's literally it. Literally, like, this suit is just perfect. The Justice League version of the suit is just this suit, but the gray portion is a little bit darker. I'm gonna speedrun the rest of his suits. Basically, the Justice League Final Battle suit looks pretty cool. It's extra armored up and has the goggles, makes sense, Final Battle. The Nightmare suit, or whatever this suit is supposed to be called with, like, the jacket, looks cool as like an Apocalypse Batman. Obviously not like a main Batman suit, but you know, it serves its purpose. And the Flash suit, what the fuck? Oh, it looks so shit. Listen, blue and gray can work in live action. Just look at some of these unused suits for the background of Michael Keaton's like Batcave in the fucking Flash movie. These look good. These actually look like amazing bat suits, but they weren't worn because I don't fucking know. But like, dude, why? You have all these random ass armor panelings which just kind of look like shit. Like they don't really connect anywhere. They just kind of come out of nowhere. And it just looks bulky and weird. And not only that, but why does this mask look so squished on his face? Like the other ones looked pretty fine, but this one, it literally looks like it's suffocating, and more so than the Christian Bale suit. What the hell? And also, the blue and gray colors are just too bright, or not bright, I don't know. They just look fucking, they just look weird. Just, Get this thing out of my sight. This is shit. Don't let this deter you, movie creators and suit designers. Blue and gray could still work in live action. It's just, this suit, no. Like, the colors actually aren't that bad. Like, if you plop these onto the other suit, it wouldn't look too awful. It's just, I don't know, a darker blue would probably be better. And also, just these random hexagon pieces just make the suit look like shit. And also, I know that for the Flash movie, they kept the Michael Keaton suit basically the same as the first two Michael Keaton movies, you know, because brand synergy and which suit is the most iconic and which one do people recognize the most. But these two suits look so fucking good, man. I wish we got to see someone suit up in one of these. This would unironically go so hard in an actual movie. Like, if they got the DCU Batman, like the new DC Universe Batman, dressing up in one of these or something like this, oh, I think I might just... oh... And now finally we get to the Robert Pattinson Batsuit. Now this one does take some liberties from the classic design, like it doesn't have the arm spikes and stuff, and it has a bunch of other things too, like it has a little thing going around the neck, it has a little color going around the neck instead of being all one connected piece. But you know, allows for more head movement, plus I think it looks kind of stylish, looks pretty good. And a lot of the suit just feels like it was made from various things. Like, it feels like he just found some combat boots and put them on. He found some different bits of armor and he just constructed this mask out of leather. And it feels like it's unfinished. It feels like a first draft of a Batsuit, which is exactly what it's supposed to be. This story takes a good bit of inspiration from both The Long Halloween and Batman Year One, as well as some other stories. But a lot of the Year One stuff is basically just, this is the first 2 years that Batman has been around, and he's not as classy as he gets later on. He's not as professional yet. He's still learning the ropes. He's still a rookie. He still makes a shit ton of mistakes in this movie, and he still accidentally does a bunch of dumb shit, and he's still kind of clumsy. He doesn't even have like a proper souped up Batmobile yet. It's just a Camaro. I mean, it's still a souped up Camaro, but still. So he has some pants and some boots and some gloves and stuff, and this is all basically a bunch of different pieces put together. But for being what is meant to be a prototype Batsuit, it looks beautiful, it looks great. The gray and black look really nice together, you can tell which parts of his suit is which. And instead of having a bunch of batarangs, he has one big batarang, which makes up the symbol in his chest. And not only this, but the symbol in his chest / the batarang is made up of a deconstructed gun. That's super fucking cool. The bat symbol is meant to be a sign against, like, you know, gun violence or whatever. Like, okay, I know a lot of people are gonna get mad at me for saying that, but Batman is, like, pretty anti-gun. He fucking hates guns. I hate to say it, guys. But yeah, I like that his symbol is basically a reflection, like, the opposite of what he's fighting against. He's fighting against all the criminals with guns, and since his parents were killed, you know, by a criminal with a gun, it makes sense that he's against all that. And I just find it cool that he deconstructed a firearm, turned it into a batarang and bat symbol, and that's the symbol he uses to strike fear into criminals and to give hope to the city. Also, upon closer inspection, he does kind of have the little arm spines, but it's just the ends of the straps on his arms. Also, I don't know what these other things are on his arms. Some people have said that they're reloads for this grapple shot, as well as some other things. But this suit just looks really good. One thing a lot of people brought up, which I don't really care that much about, is that the jaw part is really big and exposed. I don't think it's overexposed as some people say, and it definitely looks better than it being barely exposed at all, like the Christian Bale suits, especially the Dark Knight one. And overall, this is one of the best bat suits. It even has a little bit of stitching around the nose, which is reminiscent of the 60s Batman costume. And that's basically all I have to say about these suits. I feel like the overall most comic accurate one is probably the Ben Affleck suit, even if it has tiny small nitpicky problems. But I feel like the best looking might be the Robert Pattinson suit. I just really love its design and its concept. And a lot of Batman's ideas and morals and what he stands for and what he represents are portrayed through the suit really well. Plus, this one feels the most like a detective, both in terms of how he's portrayed the movie and just the suit design. If I had to pick a top 3 live-action bat suits, then one of Michael Keaton's suits is probably up there, but the Ben Affleck suit and Robert Pattinson suit, in my opinion, are kind of fighting for #1 place. They're both really good and both peak Batman live action costumes. And just peak Batman costumes in general. That's about all I really have to say, is that even when these suits aren't that great, they at least try for the most part. They all at least try to capture something about Batman. They try and capture some aspect. Some just do it better than others. I'm just glad that everyone tried, and I'm just glad that through all of the mistakes, all of the highs and all of the lows, it feels like these might have been the best Batsuits we've ever had. From the 2000s until now is when the Batsuits have started to get really great, in my opinion. And so I've finally come to the conclusion that these two are the best live-action Batsuits. What do y'all think of my opinions? Did you like this video? Did you like the other video? If you haven't seen the other video, please watch it. I'm begging you. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification, and see you all next time. Okay, lightning round for the suits I forgot existed. For like literally this whole time I was making this video until right now. The Batman armor from Batman v Superman looks kick-ass. It looks fucking awesome. It looks just like this, and so it gets a big ol' thumbs up from me. The Gotham Knight suit, or whatever that shit show was called, this ain't even a suit. This is just a tuxedo with a Batman mask. And I absolutely love Gotham, but man, this suit looks like it's made of paper mache. I know it's meant to be a prototype bat suit, but Battinson did it way better. Okay, y'all have a good day, good night.